Connor Bedard's new contract with the Blackhawks is signed 5 years, $15 million per year. We're going to break it all down next on the CHGO Blackhawks Emergency Pod presented by Xfinity. Happy Saturday. Welcome into the CHGO Blackhawks Emergency Podcast presented by Xfinity. Imagine that. I'm Jay Zawaski with Greg Boysen and Mario Tirabassi. Sorry to interrupt your Saturday, but we've got huge Blackhawks news for you. Connor Bedard is signed 5 years, $15 million AAV. If you're bad at math like me, I asked my calculator, and that's $75 million over 5 years. So, fellas, the news we've been waiting for, or one of the pieces of news we've been waiting for over the last couple weeks, is done. Immediate reactions. Go.
Yeah, good. I'm glad it's over. I think this is kind of where we were thinking things would be. I know some people are, hey, I wish it was 8 years. Sure, we all do, but it is what it is. This will take him to unrestricted free agency, but it also definitely puts a lot more pressure on Kyle Davidson. You now have 4 to 5 years to get this thing where it needs to be, and we better not still be waiting for playoffs by the end of this contract, or else it's going to be a different general manager discussing Connor Bedard's next contract. But it's over. It's signed. I think $15 million per year was probably more than we were guessing as the season was going on, and even right after the season. But as things progressed with the raise in salaries and the salary cap going up, I think in the long run, the $15 million per season is not anything that's going to hinder anything for Kyle Davidson going forward.
I mean, coming in at 15 million, having just seen, what happened in Anaheim with Leo Carlsson, I think we've had conversations about this to no end, but I was comfortable with, if any team came to Connor Bedard and gave him the maximum on an offer sheet and he signed it at 20 million, I would have been like, well, you match it because you do, and you pay him 20 million. And you know what? You hope that he lives up to it. And I didn't doubt that he ever would. So to come in at 15, when I was thinking realistically, I think he maybe even said yesterday or Thursday, I thought it might be like 17 per year. To come in at 15 is really fair for Bedard. Honestly, it might be an underpayment by the time we reach, years 2, 3, or 4 of that deal. But at 15, we're talking about the Blackhawks having so much money to work with. That's less than I was expecting them to pay Connor Bedard, which gives them more flexibility for the rest of the guys that will need extensions in the next year or two that you're expecting to also be, pretty decent sizes of money, with potentially Levshinov and Renzel and eventually Frondell and so on and so forth, with those guys needing a deal. So for it to be 15, I'm absolutely thrilled with that. That almost feels like he probably did the Hawks a million or two a favor. 5 years shorter than you'd like, but I think it's definitely fair given, where the organization is at, where Connor, I'm sure, wants them to get to. And, like you kind of alluded to, Greg, they kind of have to start now making his time worth it. You don't want to waste these next 5 years and be spinning your wheels and not be any further down the road to contention than we are right now. So 5 years, 15 million. It's a little short for term, but I'm happy with that at a little under the price I was expecting.
Yeah, and I think, before the Leo Carlsson situation happened, we were all sort of like, oh yeah, somewhere between 14-15 million started to leak out there. And it was like, oh, that feels like a lot, but price of business is going up, and then Byram signs for 12.5, so it's be more than that. Then the Leo Carlsson thing happens. You're like, okay, well, geez, it could be that high or even more. So I think all of us very comfortable with $15 million. That's what the going rate is for a player like Connor Bedard, who turned 21 years old yesterday and has already shown a over point per game pace last year, and that you can expect that to probably continue throughout his career, assuming or hoping for better health. And I do like, kind of like Greg, you mentioned too, it does put a little bit more pressure on Kyle Davidson, where Connor, he very easily could have said, yeah, give me 8, give me a couple $1 million more for $8 million. I just want to be here. I'm very comfortable. And I don't think this is Connor like being a hard ass, like prove it or I'm gone. But I do think it puts a little bit of pressure on Davidson to get some things moving a little bit more quickly. He has talked about making improvements. He did make an improvement with Bowen Byram, but still does not have that full-time line mate for Patrick Kane that we're all expecting. We'll see what comes of that. There's a lot of summer left to go. But overall, pretty happy. Like we saw the news alert come through and I was like, okay, what's this going to be? 5 years, 15. I was shocked to see 15. I really was. Regardless of the years, I was shocked to see 15 as that number. So it might not feel team friendly right now, but it certainly could have been a significant amount more, because much like Leo Carlsson, like Bedard's kind of got the Hawks over a barrel more, actually probably more than Leo Carlsson does. Like you could, with the Ducks, you can kind of say like, well, we could maybe live without him because we've got some good young players already established. Like with the Hawks, it's Bedard and a bunch of question marks underneath him. So he could have definitely held out and said, I want 18, I want 20, whatever, and they would have had to do it. I think this communicates to Bedard, while not committing to 8, which is his right, says, I'm going to make this a little more doable for you. Let's build something around me so I can actually win something here and playing games that matter.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, and it's not the 15 million per in the next couple of seasons is not going to feel that big. I mean, it's not even the highest deal, in the league right now. I mean, it's, Kaprizov at 17, Carlson at 18. I mean, you can look at Carlson getting 18 and Bedard coming in under that, and you can argue who's better or whatnot, but who's more important to their team. But I think, the cap hit is not something that's necessarily going to be stressed about too much, but you do have to start, making this better for everybody, because, finishing bottom 3, paying Connor Bedard $975,000 a season, you can live with. Finishing bottom 3, paying him $15 million and paying and Bowen Byram 12.5 and paying Frank Nazar almost 7. That's not damn good enough. So you have to, figure out, what you have to figure out what you got to do, Sue. Here, we have to figure out what how to make this better. Now that there's more pressure because there's more money being spent. It's not a bunch of kids playing on their entry level contracts anymore, where you can be like, oh, they're learning, oh, they're figuring things out. It's okay, look at all this cap hit. Well, now a big chunk of the cap hit is invested in some of these guys, and if the results aren't there, guess who is going to be paying the ultimate price? It's not the guys underperforming, it's the guy who signed them to these big contracts.
Yeah, that's definitely the case. And I do qualifying this. We all would have preferred 8, of course. Like, there's no question about it. But I do like the fact that, like, it does put pressure. It puts some pressure. And, like, look, Davidson has said, if something makes sense, we'll do it. And he has done it. Bowen Byram, whatever you feel about the cost, whatever you feel about the player, he took a big swing, gave up a prospect everybody likes, and a ton of draft capital to get the deal done. Is it the kind of player people wanted? No, everyone wanted Matthew Nyes or Jason Robertson, the names we've talked about for months and months and months. Well, those guys are still on their original teams, so it's not like someone else got them. And we learned last week from Chris Chelios that Patrick Kane is currently deciding between Buffalo and Chicago. And that's based on a conversation that Chris Chelios had with Patrick Kane. Like, that's not just him guessing. That is That's a conversation with the man himself. And I wonder now, with Bedard secured and here long term, 5 years, 15 million, you know he's going to be here. Is that what maybe Patrick Kane was waiting for? Is what is this Bedard deal going to be? How serious? And maybe it's not even Kane, but just like free agents in general, guys around the league in general, like, hey, until that deal is done, I want to know if I'm coming to play with Connor Bedard, I need to know that he is signed and he is locked in. Not that it was a big mystery, right? That it was going to happen, but hey, until it happens, it hasn't happened. And they want to know, okay, great, Bedard's here. Maybe now this changes the conversation for some guys who maybe it's not now, maybe it's this summer, next summer, whatever it might be. I wonder if that changes the mindset of guys now looking at the Blackhawks as an option on their next contracts.
Yeah, I think so. I think this is the biggest, piece on Davidson's to-do list, and now everything else can fall in place. You have Bedard slotted in, that's your best player, so you kind of figure everybody else in line with that. I hope it's not, there's none of this mandate that nobody can make more than Connor Bedard going forward, depending on what happens. But that's a different topic for a much later show. But yeah, I think now that you've got the cap allotted to him for the next 5 years, you definitely can plan things out a little better. Now that you've got that settled, and maybe that's what Patrick Kane was waiting for, because that was gonna. I don't think there's big time dollars getting thrown around for Patrick Kane as far as, oh no, now we can't afford him if that's what you were doing.
I gave him 14 million.
No, that would be insane. But maybe this is something where now it's like, all right, Patrick Kane now says, we got this locked up. I think this is going to be good. I want a 2-year deal now. I'll take less money, but I want a second year, things like that, but now that Bedard is signed, locked up, Davidson can now fill in the rest of the pieces.
Yeah, well, he still had 2 guys left to sign along with the rest of the RFAs. You got Kamezzo done, Bedard's done. Now you got Del Mastro and Korchinski's contracts done. Not that those are breaking the bank or putting you up against the cap or anything, but like that, now these dominoes can kind of fall for the Hawks. And yeah, maybe it does influence if they add anybody else through free agency, most notably Patrick Kane. Hopefully it does. Like, look, we're talking about how it makes sense for it to happen now compared to any other of the last summers, and kind of looking at, with the season starting the way it is with Bedard injured, like it just makes sense. So yeah, maybe this was a situation where, on the side, Bedard and Kane are chatting or texting or whatever, and they say like, no, I'm gonna be there for sure, and then you see it officially, and maybe it is another one of those dominoes of the off season, not just for the Hawks, but like for the rest of the league too. We knew Adam Fantilli was waiting on, Bedard to kind of set the RFA market for that group of guys. Carlson was waiting on it until he couldn't pass up $18 million on an offer sheet. So this could be one of those pieces of business that kind of ripple effects around the league to kind of have a couple of time.
Yeah, we heard on 32 Thoughts, Leo Carlson's agents say we were just kind of waiting for Bedard to sign and see what happened. Then this offer sheet comes through and changes everything. So yeah, I think you'll probably see Fantilli sign and some other pieces fall into place. We got a quote here from Kyle Davidson on the Blackhawks press release. It says, quote, Connor has continuously defied our expectations since being drafted and has quickly established himself as an elite player in the NHL. He utilizes all aspects of his game to not only be a constant threat, but to make the players around him better every time he steps on the ice. Connor's strong work ethic and determination to always improve his game has set an extraordinary standard for our young core, and we're excited for the incredible impact he'll have in this next chapter of Blackhawks hockey. So there you go. We do not know if there's a no movement clause or anything like that yet. I've got a couple questions about that out. We'll see if we can get them answered by the end of the show. But if not, we'll have it for you Monday. By the way, Patrick Kane will meet the media Monday at noon. So, did I say Patrick Kane? That was a Freudian slip. That was truly just Yeah,
That's
I don't
an
know
inside
anything.
source there, pal?
I know that was just a total misspeak.
You got a group chat with him and Chris Chelios going on, and you're not telling me about?
I'm telling you, people are going to run with that. I don't know anything about Patrick Kane coming to the Hawks. Hand to God, my dad's ashes are right up here. I will touch them and swear on them if you don't believe me. I know nothing about Patrick Kane. Connor Bedard will speak Monday at noon. That is confirmed. Oh God! All right. I hope I made that clear enough. That was just truly a misspeak, as I'm trying to read paper and talk at the same time.
Don't try chewing gum right now either.
I know. Everyone too in the chat like, he knows. I don't know anything. Yep. I mean, just period. I don't know anything as it refers to anything. I had to ask a calculator what 5 times 15 was. So
the world, well, I mean, it is a Saturday afternoon. The world's greatest, most informed hockey podcast is going to now quote you saying that it's happening. After they realized Connor Bedard had surgery.
Want to get some super chats in here? We got a few.
Yeah, let's do that. That's good.
Yeah. Brandon, who's with us pretty much every show, $2 says wish for longer term, but it's fine. Windy City Hockey cashing in his YouTube membership for a free super chat. 10 months as a YouTube member. Thank you, Windy City Hockey. Says wish the term is longer, but I'm happy with it since he deserves it. Now it's time to bring Kaner home to go with Bedsy. $20 from Madhouse Meek says, finally, no worries, guys. Hold the shower beer, tears, and beef jerky comfort. We're in business. Thanks for all that you do. And Brother Seamus said, Bedard saw Jay shave his beard and sacrificing his GQ look for the Blackhawks and decided to sign. Thank you, Jay. You're welcome. Yeah,
I mean, could you imagine flashback to a lifetime ago when you woke up the morning after your 21st birthday? I don't remember it all, but could you imagine, the perfect cure for your 21st birthday hangover is getting handed $75 million. It's
not bad.
I mean, that could buy a lot of liquid IV and Pedialyte. That's for sure.
That's awesome. Yeah. That would be, I don't remember my 21st birthday simply because it was so long ago.
Right. It's not because I got super messed up. That's just because it was a long freaking time ago. It was in the year 2000.
Yes. 27 years ago for me.
Yeah. It was a long time ago.
Well, one thing to note too is, and if you don't know this already, after the 5 years are up, Connor Bedard will be a UFA at the age of 25.
Man, he's gonna look great in the Vancouver Canucks uniform.
Oh God, yeah.
In 5 years, I'm already starting to hear that.
Okay.
Listen, yeah, that's whatever. Like if you're worrying about what's gonna happen between now and then, you're missing the ride. You're missing the point. Let it play out. If this team wins, like Kyle Davidson is planning, like Kyle Davidson is building towards, and this team starts making playoff, appearances and starts making some runs over these next 5 years, I'm not worried about, anything crazy happening. Things can change, but listen, Connor Bedard loves it here. He's been, he's a trooper. He's going to be the next captain of this team. That's the next announcement that I'm sure will be coming at some point between now and whenever he gets back on the ice. He's not longing to go anywhere. And you may think, then why didn't he sign 8 years? Because his agent is doing his job. His agent is is like, hey, why get 8 years at 15 million when I can get you 5, and then in 5 years we can sign another 6-year deal for 20 million and get you more money. I mean, that's his agent doing his job, getting the most money possible for his client, because that also means he gets the most money possible. When Connor Bedard eats, his agent eats. So that's why it's a 5-year deal. And it was a smart move for his camp to not even address this last year and wait for the season to play out, because had he signed an extension last year, it would have been for a lot less than $15 million per year.
Well, it's smart for him to bet on himself. Agent bets on the player, and smart also of the agent to look and say, look, we want to be here, but we're just going to wait and see. We're going to see how things go with the cap going up. And we talked about this on yesterday's show, Greg. I know you weren't there, but why not get ahead of it now with Levchinov and Rinzel RFAs before, you're up against the wall with those guys. But I think agents around the league are going to be like, we're going to wait. We're going to see how this goes, at least until the cap stays stagnant, or at least like the jumps
Levels
are
off a bit,
they're incremental as opposed to like massive. But look, I said yesterday I'd get ahead of any free agent I could right now, because you look at what Montreal did with Demidov and with Hudson, got ahead of it. Great deals on those guys.
They've
the
got
Hawks
those
did
guys.
Yeah.
Montreal's got all their core signed at really good deals. Dallas has done a really good job up until, Jason Robertson getting those guys locked in. So yeah, and I'm sure Kyle Davidson would love to do that, but as I said, the agents have other things in mind. They like their big checks too. So as much as a player says it's not about the money, it is for the agent.
Yeah, definitely. Hey, do us a favor, by the way, if you've not asked yet, and this emergency pod is presented by Xfinity. Imagine that. Hit that like button for us. It's Saturday. We're all just hanging out. I think Mario was in the pool. So
I was
hit that like button.
Unloading the dishwasher when the alert came through, when the email from the Blackhawks came through. And I saw the alert on my phone. I'm like, Blackhawks, what? Oh, I just saw contract extension. I was like, well, can only be one thing. And so, yeah, I have a bunch of dirty dishes I need to get back to when this is over with.
Yeah, we can just keep it going if you want, just to keep you out of having to do work. Yeah. I do think though, like let's spend a little time though on, I think we do try to do a good job of like putting ourselves in the mindsets of players. And if you're a player in another organization and you've got your eye on Chicago, do you think that like this does make a difference in their decision making? Do you think this impacts a decision one way or the other? How do you think, for guys, and I know it's probably different guy to guy, but if we can generalize, do you feel like this would make a difference for the Hawks in trying to get someone locked up from another team?
I mean, I don't know. I mean, you do have your high watermark now set where you're, if you do say, hey, Connor Bedard's making 15 and player A, you're an all-star, but you're not quite Connor Bedard. So we can't, we're going to give you a 13 and a half, 14. That's about where we're going to go. If that's the mindset they have. But if you're going to pay a guy more than 15 for the next 5 years, he better be really, really good. He better be better than Connor Bedard. I mean, that's kind of how things work in today. I know that the salary cap has things a little, goofy right now, but that should even itself out over the next couple of years. I mean, and you look, Leon Draisaitl's making more than Connor McDavid, but McDavid, that was an outlier. McDavid purposely took less money and less time. This isn't that. And we'll see what Macklin Celebrini does with his deal. There's no way he's signing it this summer. I mean, why would you do the same thing that Bedard did? And I know he said nice things when he was talking to Greg Wyshynski this week about, oh yeah, sure, I'll take a discount to stay around here. Sure you will, pal. His agent's like, stop talking. You're not taking a discount. Stop yourself.
Yeah.
So, he's going to get big chunk of money. And I think, this summer shows that Bedard's 15 million and the 12.5 for Bowen Byram shows that the Blackhawks will pay for guys. This isn't the dollar bill Blackhawks. They will pay. They will go to the cap ceiling when the time comes. They're not going to cheap out guys. They're not going to, underpay guys and they're not going to Pat Verbeek it and try and nickel and dime guys until they get absolutely screwed. So they're going to pay. And these two contracts this summer shows that. So now you just got to hope they're paying for the right guys. That's the key. Anybody can sign a big contract, but signing the right guys to a big contract is where the success lies.
Okay, something here. Puckpedia published the contract details, and I want to qualify this by saying like they're probably getting info as it's coming, but based on what Puckpedia has right now, the only year that has a no movement clause is 2030-31 on Bedard's deal. So the first 4 years of the deal, there is no movement clause. That also, there's no movement clause for Frank Nazar, There is a modified no movement clause for Spencer Knight in the final year of his deal, but no movement clause there. The only big deal that Kyle Davidson has signed with a no movement clause is Bowen Byram. And I think, it's a guy from a different organization. You're trying to get him to commit here. You're trying to get him to sign here. Ryan Donato, by the way, also with a no movement clause, but it's modified 8-team list for the remainder of his deal. So he's got one, but it's not a full no movement. Looks like the last year of Bedard's deal is full no move, but otherwise no clauses, at least at this point. Says the signing bonus was $9.8 million. There you go. There you go. So it's interesting. I wonder if, we've talked about like, are GMs going to start shying away from these no movement clauses? Because if a guy's like, I want to be traded, they're like, and I only want to be traded to Florida or Minnesota or Vegas, and that's it. Then no one's getting these anymore. I wonder. It'll be something when we get a chance to talk to Kyle Davidson. We'll have to kind of ask it generally, but it has not been a trend in the contracts he's handed out.
The interesting thing is that there is a no movement clause for the last year, which is the year heading in the free agency where,
that's the only year with a no movement clause. The last one.
If things are going bad, then he can force his hand and be like, this sucks. I want out. And I only want to go to the Vancouver Canucks, just like everybody's been telling you for the last 8 years. But yeah, I'm not losing any sleep over that. I mean, there's so much that's going to happen between now and that final year of his contract that, who knows?
Remember, the rebuild didn't start 5 years ago. That started 4 years ago. So, like, in terms of getting your mind square about how much longer it's going to be until we have to worry about Bedard's contract, that's where we're at. And I think it's clear that he wants to be here. He has said it a million times. He is not hemmed. He has not hesitated. He has not paused. He has not put an if or a but on it. He said, no, I'm happy with the Hawks. And I wonder, too, if Monday, when we get the chance to talk to him, someone will ask if he was offer sheeted and if he just didn't sign it. I'm very curious about that part of it.
I'd be shocked if he wasn't, just based on
right.
They said Leo Carlson. Multiple people reported Leo Carlson got possibly up to 4 offer sheets and signed the Flyers. So if you're offer sheeting Leo Carlson, why are you not offer sheeting Connor Bedard? Like any of these guys.
The only way you wouldn't is if the agent was like, "Don't do it. We're not signing it. Don't even bother." Right.
Mm-hmm.
Like, because I think most people in Philly aren't mad about it. They kind of appreciate the fact that they tried to do it. They tried to get Carlson. It didn't work. They gave a huge number. Right. But it also there is that disappointment of you build up that excitement and it doesn't happen. I think if teams know, we were just told no. Right. Bedard's agent told us no. Greg Landry is his agent, told us no. And so we're not even going to offer because we don't want it getting out there that we did it and then he doesn't sign it and then our fans are hugely disappointed. You don't want to do that. So I think that would really be the only way. But if Carlson got multiple and it was on the table for Bedard, if there wasn't just a don't even bother email from Greg Landry, I'd be shocked if he didn't get 1 or 2. I'd be shocked.
Yeah, I'd be surprised too. I mean, who says the Flyers weren't, I think the Flyers was more motivated of spite to Pat Verbeek. And that might be like, I haven't seen one Flyer fan get upset with any of that about, even if they didn't get him, even if they would have, I don't think they would have been like, oh my God, we're overpaying. But you now have put the team that took Cutter Gauthier away from you, and put them in salary cap hell real quick. So, it was a win-win for them. But yeah, I'm sure that will be asked. And knowing Connor, like we've gotten to know him over the last 3 years, he probably won't say much anything about that. If there's just one thing Connor is, he doesn't tell you a whole lot of inside information.
Well, he's going to be face-to-face with the Zoom camera, so he won't be able to just duck into his locker and hide. He's going to have to answer some questions. But look, I'm sure it's a weight off his back. Kyle Davidson is thrilled to get this done and now just move this thing forward, not worry about it. And you feel good about, this, Nazar, night. Like, I feel like the guys that you've said, okay, we're sure about these three, right? And I guess you could throw Alex Vlasic in there too. And those guys are all locked up long term. So is Bowen Byram. And now all the stuff around fills in. See what Levshinov does, see what Renzel does, etc. All right, before we go, prediction: is Patrick Kane a Blackhawk next week?
Do we say next week or just next season?
I'm going to say next week. Does it happen next week?
I think he signs here shortly. And when I say signs here, I just mean he signs a contract, not necessarily here. You know what? I'll say yes, because it the more that we've had time to discuss it and mull it over, 3 years ago it would have been like, no way, it's silly, but it makes more sense now because, and I believe you guys talked about it on Friday, this is not Patrick Kane's team anymore. It hasn't been for 3.5 years. It's Connor Bedard's team. Today's contract shows you this is my team. So it's not like it would have been if Kane was here for Bedard's rookie season. It's different. And, this first month of the season was going to be so crucial, even before Connor Bedard got hurt. If you can get that version of Patrick Kane that had, 20 points in his last 20 games last season, if you get that guy in October, that takes a lot of pressure off of everybody. And then when Bedard gets here, things can start clicking. So sure, why not? Let's say yes, just for fun.
All right, Mario, is Patrick Kane a Blackhawk by the end of next week?
Yes, I'm going to say yes and leave it at that before my phone explodes or something.
Okay, sounds good. I will also say yes just because I want to join the fun. And it would be fun. It would give us something more to talk about. But Monday at noon, we'll hear from Bedard. We will bring you the highlights of that on Monday's show. It will also be, if we have time, Mailbag Monday. So get those Discord questions in to all you diehards. Please do that. And on your way out, do us a favor. Hit that like button if you've not done it yet. And if you're checking us out for the first time, please subscribe. And we do have a super chat we got to knock out here too from Louis. Says, did Bedard just give the Hawks a discount? Sure, I would have liked 8 years. He was projected 18 to 20 easily. And if in 5 years we're not at least a deep playoff team, we should lose Bedsy. Overall good signing. I'm not going as far as to call it a discount, because I don't think, and we talked about this last week too, like, does the Flyers going insane for Leo Carlson change the mindset of the other 31 GMs in the league? I don't know if that's the case, and I don't know. But again, Bedard could have said, 18? All right, and just folded his arms and said, call me when you get that number, and we'll sign it. So I guess technically, yes, it's a discount, but going into this offseason, that was about what people were thinking, 14 or 15. But either way, I'm happy with it. So, all right.
Yeah, it's a great.
I think in the long term, it will be a discount. By year 3 or 4, hopefully we're going, man, I'm glad it's only $15 million. And
he makes $7 million less than Cale Makar.
Yeah, I mean, and to the point of the last super chat, I kind of agree with that. You know what? If the Hawks still haven't made the playoffs by the end of this contract, they deserve to have Connor Bedard play elsewhere.
Set him free. And we just got one more super chat from Brandon, who says Kane has a better chance of playing a big role in Chicago. I don't think he plays top 6 in Buffalo. That's probably true. I'm sure Patrick's watching this show. Everybody wants you back, buddy. Buffalo, yeah. Come on.
He's watching because you said he was signing on Monday.
I announced.
I just wanted to make sure that was right. Yeah.
All right.
Is it before or after the Bedard press conference, or is it going to be duo? Are they going to be on the same call?
Maybe he just joins the Zoom.
Yeah. Next question is from Patrick Kane of the Chicago Blackhawks.
He'll do the Kirby doc to Colton doc Zoom interference and just come behind him and tackle him.
There you go. Yeah, watch out with those shoulders, though. Be careful.
Yeah, exactly. All right, we will be back Monday unless something else happens. Thanks for being with us. Hit that like button on your way out. Have a great rest of your weekend. This is the CHGO Blackhawks podcast and emergency podcast on CHGO Sports are brought to you by Xfinity. Imagine that.
We all silly like the mayor.